Power looks glamorous from a distance: palaces, crowns, armies, influence. But for some rulers, power was not a privilege. It was a cage, every word monitored, every move political, every mistake potentially fatal. History tells us how kings were assassinated, how queens were executed, how princes were overthrown. But there's another possibility rarely discussed. What if some of them didn't die at all? What if, instead of fighting for power, they chose to disappear from it? Tonight, we examine the real historical cases where rulers may have staged their deaths, not to conquer more land, but to escape the burden of ruling it. In 1825, Tsar Alexander I of Russia died suddenly in a remote southern city called Taganrog. He was only 47 years old. Officially, he died of illness, but almost immediately, suspicions began. The body was transported in a sealed coffin. Very few people viewed it closely, and Russia had political instability at the time, meaning confusion could easily be controlled. Years later, a mysterious Siberian hermit named Feofor Kuzmich appeared. He was educated, refined, clearly not a peasant. He avoided discussing his past, and according to witnesses, he had detailed knowledge of court life, knowledge that seemed impossible for a wandering monk. Whispers spread across Russia. Had the Tsar staged his death? Some historians believe Alexander was burdened with guilt over his possible involvement in his father's assassination. Others argue he was exhausted by power and longed for spiritual peace. There is no definitive proof, but even members of the Russian royal family later admitted they weren't entirely certain he had truly died. In 1578, King Sebastian of Portugal led a military campaign into Morocco. He was young, idealistic, determined to prove himself in battle. The campaign ended in catastrophe. The Portuguese army was crushed. Sebastian disappeared in the chaos. His body was reportedly recovered, but identification was uncertain. Portugal soon fell under Spanish control, and that's when the rumors began. Over the next decades, multiple men claimed to be the missing king. Some gained significant support. Many ordinary citizens believed Sebastian had survived and would return to restore independence. This belief became known as Sebastianism. Was it simply national hope during occupation, or was their confusion genuine enough to raise questions? Some scholars argue the battlefield conditions made confirmation impossible. In times of political collapse, uncertainty becomes fertile ground for legend, and sometimes, legends begin with unanswered questions. In 68 AD, the Roman Senate declared Emperor Nero an enemy of the state. He fled Rome. Ancient sources claim he committed suicide, but what followed is unusual. For decades after his reported death, several men emerged claiming to be Nero. These false Neros attracted real followers. Some even gained support from foreign rulers. This wasn't a small rumor. It became a repeated historical phenomenon. Why? In the chaos of the Roman Empire, communication was slow, bodies weren't publicly displayed in the way we expect today, and political enemies often controlled the narrative. Most historians believe Nero did die, but the fact that so many believed otherwise reveals something important. In unstable times, truth becomes fragile, and when power collapses suddenly, people start questioning everything. In 1483, two young princes, Edward V and his brother Richard, were placed in the Tower of London. They were heirs to the English throne. Then they disappeared. Most historians believe they were murdered, possibly ordered by their uncle, Richard III, but no definitive proof exists. No bodies were conclusively identified at the time. Years later, a man named Perkin Warbeck claimed to be Richard, the younger prince. Surprisingly, he gained support from European monarchs. Foreign courts treated him seriously, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Did some leaders believe one of the princes may have survived? The mystery has endured for centuries, and in political power struggles, eliminating heirs was common, but so was smuggling them away for strategic reasons. Without evidence, history remains suspended between theory and tragedy. Not all escapes required fake deaths. In 1654, Queen Christina of Sweden abdicated her throne voluntarily. She shocked Europe. She converted to Catholicism, controversial for a Protestant ruler. Then she left Sweden permanently. Many believed she feared political instability. Others believed she rejected the expectations placed upon her. While she did not stage her death, her story represents something powerful. a ruler choosing personal freedom over absolute authority, sometimes. The most radical act is not faking death, but abandoning power entirely. History remembers kings as warriors, queens as strategists, emperors as conquerors, but rarely do we consider another possibility, that some of them wanted out. Power isolates, it magnifies mistakes, it turns allies into enemies, and sometimes, it becomes too heavy to carry. Did these royals truly fake their deaths? In most cases, evidence suggests uncertainty rather than proof. But what their stories reveal is something deeper. Even those born to rule may dream of escape. Because sometimes the greatest luxury in the world is anonymity.